edition of Johnny Davis Live. That's right, we're here on this January 28th, 2022 for another interesting cold day here in North Carolina, guys. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. Hey, won't take too much of your time today. Just want to go over a few items that we have on some upcoming events and things that are going on in the kickboxing community, in particular with the IKF. Of course, we are going to also be talking about our spring classic that's coming up March the 18th and the 19th. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That tournament is looking pretty good as well, getting some decent registration on that. Certainly want to talk about our CEO, Mr. Steve Fossum, and how things are going with him right now without getting into too much detail, of course. And, we have our professional 9-round fighters that we are looking for a few fights. So we want to talk a little bit about that as well. Right now, though, just want to go and just talk a little bit about Mr. Steve Fossum. As you well know, we are still doing a GoFundMe for him, for his family. He is still in, the hospital, still struggling there a little bit and all. Has had a couple of improvements and everything, and we're hoping that things are going to continue to improve for him. But right now, he is still certainly in need of help and your support as family for the additional bills above and beyond, I should say, the insurance that is going to, be covering this event. So if anyone's out there, we have a GoFundMe campaign right now. If you would just go to GoFundMe, type in support Steve Fossum, then you will see that campaign going on. Any support there will be fine. $10, $5, whatever you got, be work. So far, though, I want to thank everybody who has already stepped up to the plate and who has donated to Mr. Fossum's campaign. It certainly is appreciated. The family members are so appreciative of that. I am appreciative because I'm the one that's kind of reached out there and asked everyone. And I'll be honest with you, you guys have done a pretty good job in supporting this cause. We never know when it might be us. There's so many things going on in our society today that we never really know what's going to happen to us. We assume what we don't. We assume we'll be here tomorrow, but we don't know. So we're asking you to continue this campaign until, I would say, January 31st. This is the first one, then we'll look at things and then perhaps maybe down the road again, but we'll end it on the 31st, at least my portion of the campaign. So any help that you can give, go fund me, support Steve Fossum, our president and CEO, a man who has done so much for our sport, for me personally and all. And, listen, we have tens of thousands of fighters who have been influenced by this man, his work in the background for the most part. You got people like me and others who have been out in the front, people kind of recognize a little bit more. But this man, Mr. Steve Fossum, has been in the background doing his typing, putting everything, organizing, making sure that we stay on tap and trying to keep everybody safe. He is really, truly deserving of your support today. So it's easy to sit back and say, oh, well, no big deal. Oh, well, everybody else is going to do it. It's easy to say that, right? But when you have someone who's given so much to the sport, it would be, just a kind gesture. Again, don't care about how much, whatever it is, whatever you got. Everybody has different situations. If you can, go to GoFundMe, support Mr. Steve Fossum. And I personally would certainly appreciate that. I think, certainly for a very, very good cause. All right. This weekend, guys, we're getting ready as we move right along there. We're getting ready for our tournament tomorrow. We're in Orlando, Florida. We have some more tournaments somewhere, but I know I'm in Orlando on tomorrow and going to be working there with Mr. Rich Grindle. It's a really nice tournament, really nice event and everything. I can't remember the exact place it's going to be, but it's on the website, akpromotions.org. Remember, registration goes up tonight for that event. You certainly want to go ahead and get registered today before 9 o'clock. Mr. Rich Grindles actually does a great job with that tournament. He puts 110 in there. We have pretty good Registration is going on already for that tournament. Pretty good advanced registration. Probably have more people showing up at the door tomorrow. Remember, between 9 and 10, you can still register for the PKB event there in Orlando, Florida. So we hope you guys would certainly come out and check that out. Should be a very fun event, a lot of fun, semi-contact, no knockouts allowed, right? But the action is fast and it's fun and everything. So come out on tomorrow and check out all the fun, guys. It should be a great event. Rich Grandel is doing a great job in promoting the sport out there, and bigger things to come. Bigger things to come for him, and events that we're bringing to Orlando, Florida. I know that we have some other things that we'll talk about Orlando in just a little bit and see how that is going to play out. Just want to remind everyone too, on next weekend, we're actually going to be in was it St. Augustine, Florida, with Miss Christy Martin. That's right, Christy Martin Promotions. We will be there, and she has a really nice boxing card lined up for that event. I think that people are going to really enjoy it. And yes, indeed, Mr. Derek Reams and I will be there on the microphone. We'll be doing our things with our AK Promotions live streaming. We will be, talking about all the fights. We will be, not only talking about the fights, but, doing the pre-weigh-ins on Friday, February the 4th, right? We'll be there. He'll be there with Mr. Ron Borges and some other color commentary for the weigh-ins. And then we'll go into the full contact fights on the following day. But we're going to be there the whole weekend, bringing it to you live, akpromotions.org. You can purchase that live stream pay-per-view if you want to see the fights. You know what? And it's not bad. I think the quality of the production is not bad. It's really clear. You can see everything, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this. So check it out. You can go ahead and order in advance right now at akpromotions.org. Just go to the calendar. You'll see the link there for the live streaming. It's going to be a great event put on by world champion. Legend. Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter. She's out there doing her thing, and we're so happy that we are part of her team and at least helping, this event, move forward. So check it out, akpromotions.org on our live streaming, and I think you will really enjoy that. The other thing, obviously, we're getting ready for registration is now in progress for our Spring Classic. Now, we're going to have a lot going on for the Spring Classic in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I think it's something that you can really get excited about that too. A lot of fighters are signing up for that, men, women, and juniors in the knockout action. It's going to be a lot of fun. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the Landmark Resort. Pretty nice facility there. It's like a 3-day event, there at the Landmark, where you have full contact going on in one ballroom, and the next ballroom over, we're going to have semi-contact going on. It's going to be the PKB, which is the Point Muay Thai and Kickboxing Sparring Tournament. And then after that, within that, we're also doing the PBSC. Now, a lot of you might not be familiar with the PBSC, on this particular network right now, but the PBSC is actually point boxing sparring. It's point boxing sparring. And so it's where, boxers, just like in the PKB, have an opportunity to showcase their skills. So there are no knockouts in the PBS. I got a call the other day from a young lady who's been in boxing and around boxing for quite some time, but she hasn't really fought in a while. And she was so excited. I think she's in her 40s. And she is so excited about being a part of the PBSC and just the boxing, just not having to kick, just using her hands and boxing. Again, this is a new concept in boxing, right? It's a new concept. I kind of want to break this down a little bit because people, what do you mean PB is point? Well, you can't knock each other out. So in order to develop your skills, better boxing, better defense, better offense, better footwork, building your confidence and it's done on a matted floor, not in the ring, that is what you need before you get in that boxing ring, get into full contact. I know this is going to be huge. It's going to be huge someday. I created this organization about probably 13, 14 years ago. And every time we do it, boxers walk away. Oh my God, why that I think people are going to get so much out of. That event is going to be on March the 19th at the Landmark Resort. So check it out, the PBSC at the IKF Spring Eastern Classic, which is going to be the weekend of March the 18th through the 19th. I was just kind of checking on the Wi-Fi. I kind of went away there and everything. PBSC. Now, you already know that the PKB is also going to be there, which is always there. That is Muay Thai and kickboxing. Again, semi-contact, no knockouts allowed. We give out some really, not give, you win some really nice awards for that event as well. So the PKB, everybody knows that PKB, PMT, the events that we do across the country, that will also be a part of the World Classic. So, please sign up for that as well. Go to akpromotions.org and you can go ahead and get registered for that. Remember, weekly, the registration is going up. Right now, though, we already have over probably 55, 60 divisions for the full contact, right? And people are signing up for the PKB as well, right? So go ahead and get registered. You don't have to pay more. If you know you're going to do it, go ahead and get registered early so you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. Also, the way we do our shows is a little bit different for the full contact. Just want to go into that for a minute. There's only 4 fighters per bracket. Only 4 fighters per bracket, right? So that means in order to win, you would have to fight twice, right, in order to win. So if you have 4 people in your division. For the open divisions, we give out championship belts. For the novice divisions, we give out cups, right? And we have a C-class division, which is an open C-class. It's like 4 to 10 fights. We also give out cups for that, right? So if you're in B class or A class, you'll be fighting for a championship belt, right? The belts are not that bad. Cups are not that bad. Everybody walks away with a medal. So it's a reason to get involved and be a part of the tournament. We do it only in one ring, right? So we have to limit the amount of fighters that we have, right? And so it's done in one ring. There's lights. There's live DJ music, there's food, there's drink. We do it like a fight night all weekend. So we have Friday night shows, Saturday morning shows, Saturday night shows, Sunday morning shows, right? So it's a spectator extravaganza, right, for Muay Thai and kickboxing that weekend. March the 18th, the 19th, and 20th. Mark your calendars. We would love to see all of you and your team out there. Go ahead and get registered right now at akpromotions.org. And I mentioned a little earlier, we also will be live streaming that event because we know that a lot of people can't make it out. We do know that we still have some type of viruses out there as well. So some people just don't feel as comfortable coming out to the events. So we will be live streaming it. So we hope that you will, if you can't come, support your fighters by live streaming at AK Promotion. We'll have all those links up in the coming weeks and everything. You can start ordering that in advance as well. Again, we want to bring action to you. We want to bring the best of action to you so that we can, continue to grow our sport. Promoting this business and the promotion business, it is not easy. Okay. Ups and downs, peaks and valleys, right? We try to do the best we can. There are a lot of things that goes on in this game, but again, we're just going to try to give it 110% with the $2 that we have, right? To try to make our sport a little bit better for these athletes. So, and speaking of that, let's go now to what we're working on for our March event as well, our main event. We are going to have, we got 2 professional fights that we're looking for. Now, everyone knows that we do the 9-round format, right? So 9 rounds of unified kickboxing, right? And so there are 2-minute rounds, 9 2-minute rounds. One of the fighters that I think we have been matched up, though. I think we have been matched up now for Mr. Jeremiah Scott. We had a person that called yesterday. Sounds like a pretty good matchup, and we're probably going to go with that. We're just kind of waiting on the final word from them on that, if they will accept that fight. But I think it's a really good matchup, and it should be a really good show for both of the fighters. So we're hoping that that match will come through. We should know by somewhat like the first of the week or something like that whether or not that fight is going to fly. But I'm hoping that it will. A little bit on Jeremiah. Jeremiah, he has over 20 some fights. He's been fighting for a minute. Really tough guy. He's flamboyant, no doubt about it. Got a little Conor McGregor edge on him, no doubt about it. But he's a really nice guy. He really is a nice guy. So we're certainly seeking a fight for him. Again, we might have him matched up. But I think that that will be a good showing there in Myrtle Beach as one of the main events for the weekend at the IKF Spring Classic. Another fighter that we are looking for is Matt Fleming. Matt Fleming is out of someone in Charlotte. I can't China Grove, someone like that in North Carolina. Matt Fleming, as an amateur, he has a record of like 7-3, right? He's 7-3. In the pros, he's only had one fight as a pro, so he's 0-1. He did lose his first outing, but Matt is a pretty tough fighter. He looks a little deceptive there, right? But he's actually a pretty strong fighter. I was impressed with him the times that I've seen him fight. I think he just needs to get his footing in the pro game and all. I think he's going to do well. I think that he's tall, by the way, just in case. I don't think I have his height. I think I have on 6'4", 6'5". He's pretty tall, just so you guys know. 195 pounds, pretty good boxer, got some pretty good kicks. He's tough. I've seen him in some bloodfests. I've seen him in some really tough fights. So if you think you have somebody out there for him, listen, we're not trying to have someone contact me. So how many fights you have? They have about 3 pro fights, but they had about like 60, 70 amateur fights. Well, that's quite a bit, So I'm looking at everything, want to try to get the right fight for these fighters. Want to try to give everybody a fair shake on the way up. If they're good enough, they'll hang in there. If they can't, they can't. But we're going to try to give everybody a fair shake. So if you have somebody out there that's kind of getting started in the pro ranks, I think Matt has had about maybe 10, 11 amateur fights. Well, that's 7-3. He's had about only about 10 amateur fights and stuff like that. So we're kind of looking for someone with a similar type of amateurs and then going into the pros, right? So if you think you have somebody for Mr. Matt Fleming there out of wherever he is, somewhere in North Carolina, Charlotte. Give us a call. All our information is right there on the screen. And I think that you will not regret that. Also want to thank Mr. Don Rogers for stepping up. Don Rogers was kind of promoting Matt for most of those. North Carolina is not back together as far as the commission. So he allowed us to work with Matt on this one and everything. So we get a matchup. We'd love to have him on the card. So Jeremiah Scott and Mr. Matt Fleming for 2 pro fights on the Spring Classic, March the 18th and the 19th at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the Landmark Resort, guys. It's going to be fun. So mark your calendars. If you have not done so yet, please do so. I guarantee you will not be. I think it's kind of important that I put myself back on the screen as well, and stuff. So anyway, having fun there. All right, so let's see what else we have. So much stuff going on here. We are also working on, I know some people are asking about the World Classic in Florida, right? So we're going to see about that. We're working on some details and all that to see whether or not, we're still going to do the World Classic. We're working on that, with, obviously his wife, CEO Tony, who's this interim CEO and president right now. So we're seeing whether or not we're going to still be doing the World Classic. I think a lot of people still want it and all. We do what we do. We can make it happen. So we're still working on that. We'll give you more information as we know it. But such a great event, the belts and stuff like that. Awesome. Hey, I want to mention really quick before I go too about with the PBSC. You see those nice, we also do the PKB, we do those championship belts and everything too for the PBSC. So we're certainly doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun with that as well. In July, Mr. Chad Mueller is working on his big show in Missouri. I say Missouri is Illinois, Missouri. Pro fight there at the Renaissance Hotel. That's going to be a lot of fun. He's working on that. Ryan and Hodges and all, they have a lot of big events coming up. A lot of PKBs going on, PMTs going on there in California. They have a big fight coming up. I think February 25th might be the next one there somewhere in California. I don't have that off the top of my head, but no. So we have some action going on, some other IKF events going on as well. We're kind of looking at the website, revamping some things on that. So a lot of information. Thanks, Chad. That's in Missouri. Chad Mueller corrected me there. In Missouri, there's where the fights are going to be. I'm geographically not on top of things. I'm on the road all the time. I just say, plane, just take me somewhere, whatever, right? And then I'll figure it out when I get there. But thanks, Chad, on that. Oh, yeah, so that big fight at the Renaissance, July 23rd, he is now kind of matching for it. At least he certainly, I know, has a list going. So if you want to contact Mr. Chad Mueller, you can find out more information at IKF PKB Midwest or IKFMidwest.com. I think I have that right now. So a lot going on, guys, in our world. We're making some big things happen. We are going to see exactly where the direction we're moving to keep continuing to keep IKF strong and making things happen across the country. Either way, though, we are going to be moving the sport forward with the IKF and all to make sure that, fighters, trainers, promoters, and all are gonna, be able to be a part of this organization. All the things that's been built over the years, and all to make sure that we have something really viable for our fighters. A lot of people don't understand the fight game. They don't understand the fight business. So in not understanding the fight business, they don't understand how much work goes into this. There is a ton of work that goes in trying to put on these shows. There's a ton of money that goes into these shows. Listen, I get it. I totally get it. I totally understand it takes a lot. But there is a formula for success. Even when you have, shortfalls, shortcomings, and all that, there is a formula. I think we have that formula. I think we figured it out. If you're interested in joining on with us with AK Promotions and my team of promotions across the country with the IKF PKB, the PMTs, or our full contact events, if you're a promoter and you're interested in coming on board with IKF, feel free to give us a call. Contact us on our website, akpromotions.org, or my contact information is also on there, and I can tell you more about the direction and things that we're moving in, and also perhaps give you, if you come on board with us, maybe a different mousetrap. Maybe something that might be a little different for you, right? That can make your events a little bit more successful, even when you have, peaks and valleys, and stuff like that. Speaking of that, the Georgia Classic was a fun event. It was a tough event, but it was a fun event. And I want to thank Lori and Master Child for all they did. They really worked hard, and we got to still work out all the details on it. But, I want to thank them for with Tie Top team over there. They had their team out there. They worked really hard to make that event overall successful. Again, we had a snowstorm. We had a lot of stuff that went on, but, we still did the event. I think most people enjoyed the event. And also, once we all said and done, we'll find out whether or not we'll continue to do the event or whatever, in Georgia, because, we feel like that, it could be great in Georgia. Georgia, has a lot of potential, and that the event could even be better. Love the venue, really nice venue and everything like that. But it's got to be all the marbles have to kind of come together to make it kind of like the Spring Classic and the Georgia Classic and maybe some other events that we're working on. So we are certainly looking at some other things down the road. The World Classic, I said, the West Coast Classic, things like that. We're certainly going to be talking about all those things at headquarters to figure out what's going to be best for our sport in order to continue to move our sport and our organization forward. So you can bet on that. Before I close out, I just want to kind of give a word of inspiration, maybe maybe motivation about having the right attitude. And guys, I want to put this back on the screen really quick about with Mr. Steve Fossum, because I am thinking about him a lot right now. If you can help out with the GoFundMe, please do. I want to tell you something about sometimes you got to take a deep breath. So, guys, I was in California last week, and it was a interesting trip, kind of tough, because of Steve. And stuff and dealing with that, but interesting in other ways. It wasn't totally a bad trip. But on the way back, my luggage did not make it back with me. Right? I just want to tell you about sometimes how you just got to take it on the chin, right? And you have to be. I want to say this because while I was traveling back to the airport, I saw this guy. Something happened, and he was just yelling and screaming and yelling and screaming. I'm like, dude, I had to calm him down. Dude, you're not going to get anywhere with that, right? So on the way back, my luggage did not get back with me, right? My luggage didn't make it with me, right? And, maybe it was a little bit of my fault because I didn't pull that old tag off, okay? So I have to take the blame for that. The lady should have probably pulled off, but that's okay. So they tell me that the luggage is going to be back on this one day. So I travel. I live about 30 some miles away from the airport, right? So I go back to get my luggage. They say, oh, well, it didn't come in. So it didn't come. So I'm like, oh man. So literally it takes about, to do that to get through the airport about 2 hours. That was 2 hours wasted, right? So then they said, hey, we found your luggage, right? And it's going to be in on tonight, right? On a 1 a.m. flight, right? And I knew that's probably true because I came in on the 1 a.m. flight earlier. So I said, okay, great. So I'll be back tomorrow. So I go this morning, get up early, go this morning, boom, get there. My luggage is still not there. Right? So I said, oh, I don't know, did it happen or not? So listen, I could have yelled, I could have screamed, I could have made it totally been a destroyer for my day. But I refuse to let one situation, right, destroy my entire day, right? I took it on the chin again. I said, it is what it is. I thank the guy for trying to help me out. Maybe I'll get my luggage on this weekend, right, or something. In the meantime, I'm on another plane in the morning. My point is, don't take everything as though it's the end of the world just because something happens. Don't take everything that is people are doing things intentional. Mistakes happen, right? And sometimes it's best to kind of take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is, and then move forward. Okay, that is my little piece of advice for you today, and why I always use the term forward march. All right, guys, thought I would leave you with that today. That's all I have for you. Thank you again for joining yet another edition of Johnny Davis Live. Always forward march. This is Johnny Davis Live, and I'm checking out. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.